We are doing today 160, 170 trucks with the same people that we did in the past, 60 to 80 trucks per day.
Hello everyone, I'm Lily and welcome back to another Stories from the Yard. Today we are at Agricon here in Balen and I'm here with Gerry. Can you explain to us what you do here at Agricon?
My name is Gerry Convents. I'm site manager here at Agricon. Agricon is a producer of bark and substrates. We produce private labels. That means we are producing products for our clients in their own label. That means we are producing for them, storing the pallets for them. We have here a storage capacity of 60,000 pallets on our yards. And in the season we are delivering these products to our clients. And that means we have around 170 trucks per day.
What was the situation like before implementing Peripass and what's it like now?
Before it was very stressful to make all these trucks going in and go out on time. And we had a very bad overview. Trucks even got lost on the site, discommunication maybe with the truck drivers, they're going to the wrong place, discommunication with the operators, they're loading the wrong trucks, data registration was time consuming or data was not well captured. Today we have a very good overview which trucks are arriving, or they're arriving on time or too late. Where we have to do a little bit replanning. We know which trucks are on site at the moment always. We know which loading docks are free to use to optimize the use of all loading spaces we have. When a truck enters the site, we immediately know what he comes to do. Also the operator is informed, so he knows I have a truck coming to this location and these are my tasks to do.
All right, we're here at the waiting parking, but all your drivers are pre-registered, so you know they're coming. How do the waiting parking and the kiosk factor into that flow?
The waiting parking gives the possibility for the truck driver to park his truck, to do the registration at the kiosk step by step in his own language, which is very important to have no discommunication between the truck driver and his instructions he has to follow. As soon as he has done the registration at the kiosk, he pops up at the screen at the reception. And this gives us the ability to optimize the use of all our loading locations on site we have.
All right, we're here at the self-registration kiosks for drivers. How do they compare to traditional reception?
The kiosk registration is very clear for the truck driver. First of all, it's in his own language, so that makes it much more easier for the truck driver because we have truck drivers coming from all countries with different languages. Second, the registration is a very simple step-by-step program, which makes it very clear for the truck driver what is expected from him. At the same time, the reception, the people have time for managing the trucks and not be busy all the time with the registration of trucks.
I also heard that your driver registration went from about 8 minutes to about 1.5 minutes. I can imagine that's also a really big advantage considering your seasonality.
Yes, indeed, because we have very seasonality during the year with high peaks in spring, but also during the day we have very high peaks. So we have in a very short time many trucks arriving, which needs to be registered and dispatched as soon as possible. So reduction of this registration time helped in the operations of our factory.
After the driver is making registration at the kiosk, it's appeared on the screen. Then we can see here actually a reference number and number truck, so we can help out and know exactly with whom we have a dealing if the driver is coming here. The next step, what we do when drivers have already documents, for example, as pallets, they are driving to the place for loading. We dispatch him to the loading place like this. He automatically gets an SMS with PIN code. Now he is yellow because it's means that how we know that he's not yet inside. Once he's got to the wake bridge, he put a PIN code and that's gonna be a trigger for make a task for have truck chauffeur that they can already start to load and they know all information what they need. Once he's entrance, he turned to red.
This is the entrance to our location. When the truck driver enters his PIN code, he is identified. In the same time, the weight is captured automatically. pictures are captured automatically, and in case of a bulk truck, we capture a full 3D scan of the truck at the same time. All this data is captured automatically in the Peripass profile of the truck without any intervention of the administrative worker in the reception. So you don't need to pay attention which truck I have on the weight bridge. This is all automatically with the PIN code, and all this data we can consult in real time and in the future if needed.
We're here at one of the loading docks, and we saw earlier that the forklift driver has a tablet in his forklift with the Yard Assistant app. How does that work for you guys?
Yes, that's correct. The forklift driver uses the Yard Assistant app to see which truck arrives at which location. So the forklift driver is informed before the truck actually arrives at the location and already knows what he has to do there, which order he has to load and which tasks he has to perform. This helps to run the operations much smoother and to reduce the loading times.
We are wrapping up our tour. What has your experience been with Peripass?
It was from the start very good. It started with the implementation of the system at our location. The consultants of Peripass were very helpful to find a solution for our needs on our side. After, with Peripass itself, the system, we went from a situation that was very chaotic on the parking space, no overview of what's going on the location, on the site, time consuming for registration process, time consuming for data capture, to a situation we have today a very good overview of what's going on, which trucks are arriving, which trucks have to be dispatched. We have very good communication, which is very important, with the truck drivers and with the operators. This makes the logistics parts run much smoother than it was in the past. So it's a very big improvement for us.
What would your advice be for companies wanting to start with their own YMS project?
My advice is to involve people from all levels in the company, from the receptionist or dispatching to higher levels. Also rethink about your logistic process. Maybe you can do 2 optimizations in the same time with implementation of Peripass, because the system also gives you other opportunities to control the flow of trucks different than you're used to do in the past.
Gerry, thank you so much for the tour of your wonderful site here and for having us. And everyone else, thank you so much, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye! B-roll! Hi, wat zeg ik nu? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Awesome.